Powered by Riverside FM.
Powered by Riverside.
Welcome to a post-game UP. Just got done watching the Minnesota Timberwolves lose to the Dallas Mavericks 108-105, game one of the Western Conference Finals. Please like and hit the subscribe button. It helps with the algorithms and keeps the station growing. When are the Minnesota Timberwolves going to get tired of this, man? Like I called it before the series started in our preview show of the Western Conference Finals, and I said this could be a letdown game for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I wouldn't be surprised that if they lost the first game. And so I'm not surprised that they lost the first game, but I get irked. And I don't know if other Timberwolves fans get irked, but I get irked about certain things that I see, man. I just get irked about things that I see. And, you know, even though I kind of expected this to be a letdown game, you know, there are just certain things that I watch that I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Couple of things. At the end of game 7 against the Denver Nuggets, Anthony Edwards calls out Kyrie Irving. And to be real, I shouldn't say that he called him out. He just said that he's going to guard Kyrie. And I'm not necessarily calling Kyrie out, but that's the term that everybody is using in the national media. Reggie Miller tonight used it several times that Anthony Edwards called out Kyrie Irving. He didn't call him out. He just said he was going to be guarding him. But when you do that, you're doing that to a vet that has a ring, that's been in these wars before, that you have not been in. And then you come out on your home floor and let him do you. You let him do you in terms of 24 points in the first half, 29 points total. And I am telling you right now that Kyrie Irving is going to be a problem in this series because he's too quick and he's too fast. Who the heck is going to guard Kyrie Irving this series? Because Anthony Edwards was non-existent. He was chasing Kyrie all over the place. And by the end of the game, he was just gassed. He was just gassed, man. I saw him several times during the game where he just had hands on hips and he could barely walk around. Minnesota Timberwolves, I believe, called a timeout in the fourth quarter, and he couldn't wait to get to the bench because he was exhausted. Kyrie Irving wore his butt out. See, this is what the game of basketball, a Greek coach, Coach McDonald, back in Cleveland, Ohio, used to always tell us as basketball players, basketball game gives you lots of different types of emotions. But when you least expect it, the game of basketball will humble your ass. And Anthony Edwards had to be humble tonight because he went up against a vet that was ready to go. Kyrie Irving was ready to go, people. UP Nation, Kyrie Irving was ready to go from the jump. He was ready to go because he's just one of these players where if you call him out, or if his name comes out your mouth, he's coming at you. So I'm sure he heard the sound bites of that post-conference or the end of the game interview of game 7 against the Denver Nuggets where he heard Anthony Edwards say, I'm going to be done, Kyrie. And Kyrie said, what? You 22-year-old, what? And the byproduct of that one comment, you saw it tonight, and I'm telling you guys, he is going to be a problem for the Timberwolves going forward. He's too fast, and his handles are just too good. Now, that's not saying that the Timberwolves can't win the series. I'm just telling you that Kyrie's going to be a problem. And this problem is not going away too soon. Because I don't know what options you have in terms of putting somebody on Kyrie Irving. Like, if you know of an option, put it in the comments, let me know. But I don't see one. Second thing, Rudy Gobert, man. Rudy Gobert. He didn't play an awful game tonight. But guys, come on, keep it real. For those of you that watch the Timberwolves all season long, I'm not talking about people that casually watch every now and then, tunes into a game every now and then, once in a blue moon. I'm talking about people that watch the game. Is Rudy Gobert regressing? Is he regressing? Like, does he have too much on his mind right now with the new baby and all? Because if that's the case, man, look, I don't blame him. Like, that's just human nature. He's a new dad. I don't know how much sleep he's getting. You know, he may be a little distracted. I don't know. But he is not the same player that he was during the regular season. There's no one that can sit here and argue that. It's like he got the Defensive Player of the Year award, and he's going south now. Like, to me, he's not even really an offensive option. Like, the Timberwolves are out there playing 4 or 5. Like, he's not even an option on the offensive end unless he can just dunk the basketball. How many times during the game, and I'm not being overcritical, but guys, if you DVR the game or if you take the game, whatever, however you replay the game, just go back and watch the game, and I want you to count how many times he got touches and there was a positive outcome. Touches, outcome. Touches, outcome. Let me know. Because I feel like every time he touches the ball, 80% of it is a negative outcome. He either loses it out of bounds, it's a turnover, he misses a shot. During the regular season, it was dunk, 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 facilitate, dunk, 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 facilitate, dunk. Now every time the ball gets thrown in there, he's passive about scoring, unless he can dunk it. Or it's a turnover. It's 4 on 5 when we're on the offensive end. Like, in terms of posting up, that's not even an option. They just need to keep him out there running those zoom actions with the dribble handoffs. Like, at least he's good at that. But then you're showing your hand because you know he can't pop off those. He's not a 3-point shooter, so he's got to roll. So the defense knows that. And he's just not. I'm not being overcritical. He's just not playing well. He's not playing like the Rudy Gobert that we saw during the regular season. He's not. For those of you who has your blinders on, he's just not playing where he was during the regular season. He's not. Anthony Edwards. Man, this young man, he is a fantastic basketball player. He's got a lot to learn. He's got a lot to learn. He just does. He's got a lot to learn, man. This game, he's got to be more respectful of the game. You know, he's a young guy. And I have the luxury of working with young people every day. And the one thing about young people is that they feel like they know it all. They got it. They got it. They don't like to be told what to do. They're not patient. They live in a world of give it to me right now. They live in a world of social media. I can order stuff online. I can get it right away. There is no patience with 22-year-olds. And they feel like they got the world and they got everything figured out. Well, the world for Anthony Edwards is NBA basketball. And so he feels like he's got it out. And he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand, and I've said it before, he doesn't understand that he may not get back to this situation. So he's always waiting. Did you see Luka Doncic tonight? Did you see Kyrie Irving tonight? Can you actually categorize their play as waiting, or did they get after it? Were they waiting, or did they get after it? Now, you're talking about two of the NBA greats. They're two of the NBA greats. Did you see any hesitation in their game? Did you see any apprehension in their game? Did you see any part of their game where they were waiting on someone else to do something? Luka had 33, I believe Kyrie ended with 29. Luka had 33 on a bad leg. And he was aggressive. And almost had a triple cup. But there was that point where Anthony Edwards in that third quarter, I didn't even realize Anthony Edwards was even out there, man. He doesn't understand that if he doesn't go, you decrease the Timberwolves' chance of winning. Because there's nobody on your team that's as special as you. Luka has Kyrie. Kyrie has Luka. They're both special. You have some really good players on your end, but you don't have really anybody that's special. And you don't understand that you got to go and you got to score and you got to be aggressive. Every minute, every second of that game, you don't get it, Anthony Edwards. And the reason why I say that is because after the game 7 of the Denver Nuggets, they had film when he was coming out of the locker room, and he was like, people don't understand. There's more to this game than just scoring. People don't get it. There's other ways you can impact the game other than scoring. You're right. It's just not for you and on this team. Dude, if you think you can score 15 to 17 points in this series and be okay, you're sadly mistaken, man. And I hope that you don't regret these moments. When you look back at your career and you see yourself in the Western Conference Finals and you had a chance to make it to the NBA Finals and possibly a championship, I hope as you mature that you don't regret these moments. Because I guarantee you 5 years from now, you're going to look at this thing holistically completely different. You're going to look at it completely different, man. I know you're going to look at it completely different, man. You're going to look at it completely different. You got to go. You got to go you have to have the mentality. You may not get it, but you have to have the mentality that you're going to score 40 points every night. And if you don't come in with that sort of mentality every game, then the Minnesota Timberwolves are in trouble. And you can't be mentioned in the same language as Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. Forget that. Forget that. Because those two guys aren't waiting. Do you ever think about the Minnesota Timberwolves, the coaching staff, the event staff? I mean, the Minnesota Timberwolves arguably could have been the number 1 seed. Everybody was kind of jumbled up at the end of the year. OKC, Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves. Everybody's kind of jumbled up there. Minnesota ended up 3rd, but they very well could have been 1st and vice versa. Do you think they ever sit around and think, man, we've disappointed those fans down there 3 times already? Like, I know everybody. I'm not being overcritical, but I know everybody is happy. The Timberwolves have done a fantastic. They've done a fantastic job for the community and galvanizing everybody, getting everybody happy. Heck, I talked about it in my last podcast. I mean, they had sports analysts on the air crying because this was the happiest day that they had ever had covering Minnesota sports. But they've lost 3 games at home. They're one of the best defensive team in the league and one of the best teams in the league, and they can't win playoff games at home. They can't win playoff games at home. Like, this is a place where you're supposed to feel comfort. You always hear sports adages about sleeping in your own bed, eating your own food, not having to live in a hotel. Well, that somehow that seems to not work for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not overreacting, man. Just as a fan, I know that these moments are precious. I've coached long enough to know that these moments are precious, and there are times where you get one bite at the apple. You get one bite at the apple, and that bite may not ever come again. And this is the Timberwolves' chance to take a big chunk out of that apple. And they're squandering opportunities. And with young people, they feel like these opportunities are always going to be there. I know that's what Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards and all of these young bucks on that team, I know that if they thought that they may never get back, they would be playing different. But when you're good, like Anthony Edwards is, you get this arrogance where you feel like, again, well, we'll get back here. You don't understand the sense of urgency in this deal. There's a sense of urgency in this deal. And he doesn't understand. I hope he doesn't regret it. I hope he doesn't regret it. It was disappointing. I just felt like every time the Minnesota Timberwolves had the hammer tonight, when they would get up by 5, or they would get up by 8, or they would get up by 9, they just wouldn't do the things to be able to cash it in. It was always a stupid play after they made a run. Throwing the ball out of bounds, not taking a shot, a turnover, missed free throws, anything they could do to keep Dallas in the game, they kept Dallas in the game. With two of the best players in the world on the other side. That before I get criticized about jumping on Anthony Edwards, because like I said, on the UP, we gonna keep it real, man. We don't have any relationships with the players or the organization, so we don't have to have fear. We don't have to be afraid. We're gonna keep it real. You can't tell me that if you looked at Luka Doncic and how he played and came to play, and you looked at Kyrie and how he played and when he came to play, and you look at Anthony Edwards, all three of these guys are supposed to be great. There's nobody else that was on the floor that has the title of greatness. It's just those three. And I just thought Anthony Edwards was passive. But yeah, he's comfortable. He's comfortable in these moments where there's a little bit of adversity and pressure on him and he doesn't quite know what to do. He is comfortable delegating. He's comfortable. Here, Karl Anthony Towns. Here, Jaden McDaniels. Here, Rudy Gobert. Here, Mike Conley. You guys do. I'll sit back and, I'll wait my turn. If you're going to be great, you can't do that. If you're going to be mentioned in the same circles as Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and all these guys, you can't do that. If you want to sit back, then stop the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant talk. Stop it right now. Disappointing loss. Series not over. I still got the Wolves in 6. And like I said before, I'm not concerned about the series unless I saw something in tonight's game that really concerned me. And the one thing that I saw in tonight's game that really concerned me was Kyrie Irving. He's quick. He's fast. And I don't think we have anybody on our squad that is willing to guard him the way he needs to be guarded. So his handles are great. He's going to get into gaps. He's going to get into space. He can score. He can finish at the rim. He can distribute the basketball. And more importantly, he can break down our defense. That is a problem that Finchie is going to have to figure out. Because it didn't look good tonight with Ant on him. And Ant said, hey, I want him. Okay. Well, that wasn't a good showing. So we got to do better. We'll have another preview show of game 2 on Thursday, going into that game on Friday. Hopefully, Timberwolves can rebound, play a little bit better, play a little bit more stout defense, and rebound the basketball. Bigs rebound the basketball. They didn't do that well tonight. Hopefully, they can figure something out for the game on Friday. This has been the UP Unconventional Playbook. I will see ya when I see ya.
Powered by Riverside.